CM Punk is out with an injury, so what exactly does that mean? We got the latest in regards to MJF, John Cena teasing that return match, and things are not looking good in regards to Roman Reigns. We got that and more in this episode of Wrestle Round, so make sure you guys have those notifications turned on to always be up to date on our wrestling news and rumors. And let's get into it. This past week of AEW Rampage gave us some breaking news as CM Punk, the current AEW World Heavyweight Champion, is injured and will need surgery. CM Punk appeared live on the show. There's no specifics on what is his injury right now, but while he was making his entrance, you can see that he was seen limping, so it's likely he is going through some type of ankle or leg injury. Wishing CM Punk a speedy recovery. Coming out of this announcement though, there was a lot of confusion on what exactly was going on, whether or not CM Punk was relinquishing the title, and how they're gonna determine a brand new champion. And well, after that massive confusion, AEW sent out a statement indicating the following: CM Punk will remain as AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and there will be a matchup at the AEW Forbidden Door pay-per-view to determine an interim AEW World Champion. That first #1 contendership matchup will be happening on AEW Dynamite. There will be a battle royal. Winner of the battle royal goes on to face off Jon Moxley in the main event of that night. The winner of that match then will face off against a New Japan Pro Wrestling June 12th Dominion match, Tanahashi versus Goto. That will set up the main event of Forbidden Door for the interim AEW World Heavyweight Championship. The interim AEW World Champion then will take on CM Punk once Punk is ready to return. You know, that is a lot to take in when they could have just given the title to Bryan Danielson. I'm definitely not saying that because I'm a mark and he's my favorite nonetheless. Onto some other news. There have been a lot to talk about in regards to MJF this week, and it seems like things continue to get worse to play off the work. It's clearly a work now. Things started off legit, but now that they worked out, either maybe a brand new deal or agreement, it's clear that they are building from that and making it a work. So to add to it, AEW has done a bunch of things. They removed MJF from the actual roster. They deleted any mentions that they had of him past AEW Dynamite this week. They even posted part of the promo but then deleted it. Now to add to it, MJF is no longer being followed by the AEW on social media, and his merchandise website was also removed. Expect more similar things to happen, as it's clear that AEW want to go full in on all of this, making it feel as real as possible. Continuing on with some AEW Backstage news, newer reports do indicate that a lot of AEW superstars are not necessarily too happy that they are being worked on this whole MJF and AEW situation. There were previous reports indicating that Tony Khan would never lie or work the rest of the roster just to try to get ahead on a storyline and make it more real. But that seems to be the opposite of what is happening right now, as a lot of wrestlers are being left in the dark. There's also backstage reports from What Culture indicating that one specific AEW champion is not happy, and that is Thunder Rosa, with the reason being that she is unhappy with the lack of TV time she gets on AEW programming, especially as we got to see this week. It made it feel like her title defense against Serena D did not matter at AEW Double or Nothing because she wasn't on TV and there was no follow-up to it. They added that her frustration is not at the level where she is going to walk out, but she is upset and confused. To add to this, Thunder Rosa did recently tweet out that she was going to be taking some time off from social media. Let's talk some WWE. We know that John Cena is potentially returning later on this year. That is according to multiple sources, and the fact that he continued to tease it. And the latest of those teases comes in the form of John Cena more or less wanting a match against Austin Theory and wanting to give him an attitude adjustment. When asked who was his current favorite WWE superstar, John Cena named Theory. Another question was regarding which superstar is the most in need of an attitude adjustment, which John Cena also responded with Theory. Austin Theory then went on social media and called out John Cena, stating the following: "Stop playing dress up and do something then, John Cena." I think by this point it's kind of clear that WWE is planning on giving us that John John Cena versus Theory matchup in sort of like a passing of the torch moment, because we all know WWE is pushing Austin Theory like nobody else. Let's talk Roman Reigns, because it looks like WWE is confused on what exactly to do with the Tribal Chief, as now it is not known when is the next time the Tribal Chief is going to defend his titles. Originally, WWE wanted to do it at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, but since that no longer is happening on a stadium, that could be off the table, because new reports indicate that his Money in the Bank title defense and appearance is up in the air. He was pulled from the advertisements, and now the Wrestling Observer newsletter indicate that WWE has still yet to make a final decision on when Roman Reigns will actually defend the championship. The company is considering whether to have Roman Reigns wrestle at the Money in the Bank or just wait until SummerSlam. WWE right now is planning to have Riddle team with Shinsuke Nakamura against the Usos in an undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match, likely continuing all the way up to the Money in the Bank. This Roman Reigns schedule might actually be worse than what we originally thought. At this point, even though it's not supposed to, it does feel like he's on that Brock Lesnar part-time schedule. More and more, it just feels like it was a mistake to put both titles on Roman. This is WWE's booking and not planning accordingly for the months to come. That is all the latest wrestling news. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below of anything that we discussed today. Hit those notifications for more, and I'll catch you on the next one.